Old Reader, New Reader. So we have a special guest with us, and that is Jess.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Welcome to our Brady Bunch show.
Right on, man.
What is up,
And
omnidog?
Omar and I accidentally wore matching shirts.
We did.
I
But-
don't have one.
Jess, I'm gonna forward you our Redbubble store store where you can purchase one. I'll bring you one. You can wear it for all your shows when you wear your dog mask and stuff. So
That's
really,
not gonna happen.
we'll see. Tonight we are gonna do Old Reader, New Readers on The Authority. This omnibus right here. This segment is brought to you by Cheap Graphic Novels. And we actually have a gift card to give away to one of you fine people in the audience tonight. So the way I think it's going to be fair, since not everybody can join live and we have a lot of fans from overseas, this first time we'll give it away to somebody live. So every other month we'll give it to somebody that can watch it later in the comment section. So the way that this works, it's open to anybody internationally, and you have to answer one question. So you have to pay attention to the show, and I will ask a question soonish. And so somebody in the chat has a chance to win a $50 gift card courtesy of cheapgraphicnovels.com. All right, let's get this out of the way because Maddie has no air conditioning.
It's awful, guys.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
It's one of the hottest weeks in Kentucky. I didn't know what air conditioning was until I moved to America. So I'm glad we have it now, and I don't think I can live without it.
Yeah,
So-
I couldn't live without it. And I've always known what it is.
Yeah, of course you have.
Yeah.
Didn't you have? No, you know what? Not gonna make those jokes tonight. Okay, let's focus on The Authority because this is a big book. So there, once upon a time, really quick. By the way, if you've never catch this segment, we are going to talk about spoilers, so keep that in mind. So, really quick. Once upon a time, Wildstorm was part of Image Comics. Wildstorm was, of course, started by Jim Lee and Will Spartasio in that studio. They were part of Image Comics. Wildcats came out, and then there was a sister, kind of like a spin-off series called Stormwatch. Stormwatch was written by Brendan Choi, drawn by the late Scott Clark, who I loved his artwork. And it wasn't that good. Come at me. It was kind of horrible, actually. So sometime when I left comic books and I came back, they got some talent to come into the Wildstorm universe and Image. I mean, they had Alan Moore writing Supreme, they had Alan Moore writing Wildcats, and they had Warren Ellis, this young cat named Warren Ellis, writing Stormwatch. So Stormwatch he wrote for a couple of years, and it was the same team for a long time, like Fahrenheit and Fuji. So something happens with the crossover called Wildcats and Aliens, right, Jess? Was it Wildcats and Aliens or versus
Wildcats versus Aliens, yes.
Versus Aliens, which is a property of Dark Horse. That's why you don't ever see it reprinted in any of the Stormwatch hardcovers. So 3/4 of the Stormwatch team gets killed. This is why Warren Ellis is writing the book. So by the time the second part of his run comes out, like a lot of the team is missing. Pretty much, there is hardly anybody left, right? So Warren Ellis ends the run of Stormwatch and kind of rebrands everything and calls it The Authority. And that's where this kicks off. Now, do you need to read any of that stuff that I just said? Hell no.
No.
Well, actually, Maddie can answer that when we get to talking about this book. Because I think this stands for itself, by itself. It's a wonderful read for the most part.
I'm excited to hear what the other part is.
The shit-tacular part. Okay, so let's talk about Warren Ellis's run first of all. He's the one that kicks it off. He is teamed up with Brian Hitch, and then eventually he ends up leaving the book, sadly, and Mark Millar comes on and takes over the book. So, Jess, would you like to? Because you read this I read this on Sunday. You read it on Monday, so this is all fresh in our minds.
Yes.
And welcome everybody to the chat. By the way, if you didn't hear earlier, there is a $50 gift card we're giving away tonight to cheapgraphicnovels.com. It's for anybody internationally. So all I needed to do is ask you guys a question. So pay attention. All right, Jess.
I will say I read the Stormwatch hardcovers, including Aliens versus Wildcats versus Aliens today.
Okay.
And you definitely do not need to read it. It's fun. It's a good foundation, but you do not need to read it to enjoy this Authority omnibus at all. Pardon me. It starts off. I think that Warren Ellis. One reason I really like it, Warren Ellis's run, is because, of course, he thinks so far out of the box, but can help you, but can bring it down to your level so that you can understand it. Because he's always talking about traveling subspace and riding the graviotectonic waves and getting into the bleed and things like that. The dimension between parallel Earths and things like that, and you can get it, because I think there's a lot of writers out there who can get too technical with their thoughts and you don't understand it. But I think Warren Ellis can write high concept to a level that people can understand. And I also like it because of panels like this, where Jack Hawksmoor is just killing somebody, and I love it.
I can do that. I'm a white belly Kempo. I can do that.
I love the Authority because they kill, and that's interesting to me. I'm just going to say it. They kill. They don't hesitate. I put a picture up in the Omnibus group the other day where Jack Hawksmoor.
Show a little more of that, because I mean those first two issues, they're pretty gory. If you want to show some more of that,
yeah. Because and here's the ship they're on, which is a living, breathing entity, which is
like the Sky Sharks.
Yeah,
X-Men.
And they travel into the bleed, which is this area in the universe where they exist and where they sail the higher dimensions. And they're led by Jenny Sparks, who is the spirit of the 20th century. She was literally born in 1900, stopped aging at 1919, and is living electricity, and is definitely terrifying. And it contains probably one of my all-time favorite comic characters, and that's the Midnighter, who every one of these characters is my favorite character, really, because you've got the engineer who's got 9 pints of nanotechnology in her instead of blood. You've got Jack Hawksmoor, who has all his organs traded out for alien technology inside his body, so he lives off of cities. You've got Apollo, who's kind of like their version of Superman. You've got Swift, who can fly back there with talons for feet and has superpowers. And you've got the Doctor, who's a shaman magician. And let's see, am I forgetting anybody? I don't think so at this point, because there's an awful lot of characters that run through this book. But Warren Ellis, and not enough can be said about Brian Hitch's art, because it's freaking fantastic.
Agreed.
It is just gorgeous. And the Midnighter's abilities are that he knows ahead of time what fighting moves you're going to use in the fight with him. So any fight that he takes on, you've already lost. and he's not afraid to kill because he kills. And to me, as a jaded comic fan who's been reading comics for 54 years, it was almost refreshing to me, and I know this sounds twisted, to see comic characters kill the bad guys, and in a gory, freaked out, gacky kind of way. It's just been, and that's not all it is. It's dealing with parallel dimensions, parallel worlds. In this particular story, we're dealing with a parallel world that's taken over by the whole world's been taken over by a Sicilian rooted British government that's rooted in Sicily by these blue-skinned aliens who do heinous crimes against humanity. And Jenny Sparks is the leader. And whoops, I'm getting into the crossover with the Planetary. So it's just and Jack Hawksmoor can blend into cities. He can go under the cities. He can run around through cities. He breathes in pollution and breathes out pure air, and he like lives in the cities. And I just think it's just a remarkable bit of storytelling that he definitely does, because it's not bogged down with details. It's not bogged down with heavy technological terms. It's a rich story that I read it all yesterday. And it's a thick book.
Yeah.
But it's a fast read, and it's just it's a fun read. And, I'm all about fun. And
he is, folks. He is.
I am. I'm the exact opposite of Omar. I go into a book and movie looking for a way to have fun at it, not looking for a way to rip it apart.
I don't do that with everything. Have you read?
You so totally
I do not. Have you seen some of the shit that I've read? I've read a lot of crappy stuff.
I do it for like nostalgic things.
Yes.
For other stuff. No, but like I agree with a lot of the things you said. Like, to me, I really, really enjoyed this read. It did some like nice, I guess subverting of the genre in a way that made sense and was not just to be edgy McEdgelord, because sometimes we're like, oh, these are superheroes, but they kill and there's gore. They're just doing
Jess's nickname in high school.
And
edgy McEdgelord.
It reminded me of reading Irredeemable, because I feel like it was done in a way that made sense, that in a way that superheroes would actually do. I loved each and every one of these characters. I couldn't help but compare it to, when I read Hickman's Avengers. Just like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of, melding of parallel worlds. There's a lot of characters. There's not just the characters in here, but there's a lot of other characters that maybe we should have known about, maybe not. But I never once while reading this did I feel lost. I feel like I kept up with everything. Nothing had to be over-explained to me. I really appreciate that they didn't, I don't know, feel the need to over-explain to me. They trusted that me as a reader, I would catch up with things and it would make sense. I loved it. I thought it was really great. And I love these characters, and I wanted more from them than just this. And the art was amazing. This is definitely my kind of style of art.
Yeah.
The minute I started reading, I was like, yeah, this is what I like. And I love all sorts of different styles, but definitely that era of comic book is a type of art style I really appreciate, and it hit all the right boxes for me. Just how everyone was portrayed, because all the characters, you really get to spend a good amount of time with each of them and connect with them. And I think that's really important when telling an epic story like this and following their stories, and you know enough about them that when you meet parallel versions of them, you understand the differences, and you understand the similarities right away. Loved it.
I think Jess hit it the nail on the head when he described Warren Ellis' style of writing, where how do I know Maddie watches Doctor Who, or for anybody that watches Doctor Who, sometimes you feel so smart when the things are explained to you, the science behind time travel and all that. You're like, oh yeah, I get it. I must be really smart, but it's so dumbed down that you don't realize it, right? Like they're just obviously Warren Ellis is just making all this bullshit up, but you're riding along with him and you're like, yeah, okay, cool, totally, that makes sense. Of course this ship is a sentient being, that of course. And I love, like, there is no any other comic, well, not any other comic book, most comic books I would be sitting there going, now where the hell did the ship come from? She's just like, oh yeah, we got it on this adventure or whatever. But in this, I'm just like, I'm just along for the ride. I'm like, yeah, all right, Jenny, we get it. We got a ship. Cool.
Like, let's sure, I get it. You had a superhero group, and then you kind of like went away, and now you're back, and you're figuring it out.
Can you highlight this so I can show? This is just how fun this book is. Midnighter and Hawksmoor bash into this alien ship. Hello, welcome to Los Angeles. We're here to hit you. I mean, to me, that is this book. We're here to hit you. And they just make the alien pilot's life miserable. They just go in and just start beating on them. And it's just great. I just love it. It's so fun. And Midnighter, all of them at one point say, I love my job, or I love being me. Yes. I love being me. And this is, to the alien invaders. I just love that. We're here to hit you.
So one of my favorite things about this book is what you said was Brian Hitch's artwork. And for the first time, we have this, what people call the widescreen comic format, like Jackie O just said. Like, it's almost like this was the first time that it was ever used. Like some issues of Wildcats had done it before with Jim Lee's artwork with the fold-out pages, but this is the first time that I remember reading something that I felt like almost like a movie. Like you get action sequences like this, like a summer flick.
Yeah.
Yes. For anybody that's starting to watch, we are going to be talking about spoilers, just in case. I don't want to accidentally give something up because we're about to get to the spoilers section. And then he went on to do. The Ultimates with Mark Millar, who later on takes on the book, and we'll talk about that second half in a little bit. But man, this stuff was so awesome. This stuff was great.
I'm really surprised this hasn't been picked up for a TV show or a movie. Like, there's other comics that have gotten kind of preference over this. I'm like, the minute I read it, I was like, how would somebody not pick this up immediately? It's perfect. I think it would translate perfectly to a live action format.
So one of the other things that I remember reading this, so we have a Superman character of Apollo, right? And we have Batman, Midnighter. And these guys are together, right? They're a couple. And I think that's great, the way that Warren Ellis writes it, because it's not in your face, and sometimes you're like, wait, I remember reading it the first time, and I was like, wait, did he just, oh, okay, cool, they're together. Like, it's not made obvious like later on in comic books that some writers tend to do, particularly Mark Millar, with the Ultimate stuff that he was doing at Marvel. Or I think I remember Grant Morrison even making fun of that little thing, like with Beast, like how not everybody has to be gay.
It's more organic. It's just natural. They're just a couple. It's just,
right. It's not a big
like a couple. It's
not a big deal, which I love about that. But yes, I think out of all the characters, either the Midnighter for me or Jenny, they were my favorites.
Oh yeah, I love both of them so much.
Well, that's one thing about them is that they are all strong females. The Swift and Jenny and the engineer, they're all strong females, and they delight in their jobs. They all delight in their jobs, but the women are strong females that aren't afraid to voice their opinion, but they respect Jenny as the leader.
Yeah. So This omnibus is great because it contains every bit of story that has the Authority in him from the Warren Ellis years. So Warren Ellis, if you're used to his style of writing, he doesn't stay very long at things. Like he has a hard time finishing things out. So sadly, he leaves as of issue. I want to say like he did the first 12 issues or 18 issues. I want to say it's 12 issues. Because after the 12th issue, well, we'll just talk about it. The big, yeah. He lives on issue 12, and then that's with spoilers again when Jenny dies.
Okay, so that's the end of his run. Because I just read through it. I didn't even pay attention to when, writers change. I could tell when artists change, but I didn't pay attention to them.
And then this is the first time I've ever read this, the Jenny Sparks miniseries.
Yeah, same with me.
Which is kind of the aftermath of what happened in issue 12. But it's a flashback aftermath, if that makes sense. And it's drawn by the great John McCrea, who did Hitman, if you're familiar with that guy.
Yeah,
Hitman.
I think his art is even tighter in here than Hitman.
I think that might have something to do with what's his name?
Inker?
James Hodgkins. Yeah, his inking is awesome.
Yeah.
And the colors, of course. But as of that, and then moving forward, Mark Millar is the one that keeps writing this. So, let's talk about that run. Now, this is the Mark Millar, and for the most part, not every issue, Frank Quietly run. I'm sorry, Craig Bass is wanting to know if we can show some of that. You want to see the John McCrea artwork? I don't mind. You got something, Jess, or I can do it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. This is his art from the Jenny Sparks miniseries.
And that was such a great. I thought it
I like that issue.
Really, yeah, that issue in particular was really well done. I thought that whole secret history of Jenny Sparks was really well done. All 4 issues I thought were really cool.
I thought it was really. I mean, she's such an interesting character. I'm glad that I got to have time to go back in life and see more about her.
Yeah, exactly.
She became more British. We did the flashbacks. It's like I never thought about it, and then they're like, "No, we really want you to know that she's British."
Oh, she is absolutely. That's a Mark Millar thing.
Okay, you really. I mean, it was fine. It's just like I didn't feel like they really pushed the accent in the beginning of this omnibus, and then went to the flashback. I was like, "All right, chill. We get it."
So then we get Mark Millar's run with Frank Quietly. Now this
can we talk about Frank Quietly's art, please?
Now Frank Quietly is one of those guys I wasn't a big fan of at first until All Star Superman. Now I fell in love with his artwork in All Star Superman, but I hated his run in New X-Men.
Oh, I liked it in New X-Men.
And I always like all his characters look like angry bald white women with wigs. Like that's the way. They look like Cassandra Nova.
The hell is this? Let me see.
Hold on, where are you at?
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
To Apollo.
Well, Apollo's like chubby Superman, right? He's chubby strong.
And I like him in All Star Superman. I think he's fine, but I was like, you don't need to be in charge of this. But I don't. It was such a drastic. There we go.
There you go.
Drastic difference from it was before. It just felt really alarming. But
I will say, rereading this though, I'm down with his artwork. Like I really like his artwork in this now. It just took me a long time. Like I didn't appreciate it when I came back into comics and started reading New X-Men, and even some stuff for New X-Men is pretty solid. But
I don't mind himself for other things, but it was just like it was gross.
It was gross. Well, this is also early Frank Quietly. I mean, this is before he did We 3. This is before he did All Star Superman.
Wait.
What are you looking at here?
It's like the face you see in your nightmares. Let's talk about this.
The baby or the...
Both.
That's a cute baby.
I mean, I like his art style elsewhere. Mm-hmm. I think it's really good, and I would appreciate it with other books, but it's not for me. It's this. That being said, this little arc right here with like their own version of the Avengers, basically, but evil, I really liked.
Yeah, I think this is when the book goes, I don't know, a little south for me.
I can see, I kind of tend to agree. They're acting like rock stars and stuff, having parties on the ship and stuff, and acting like rock stars. It didn't connect with me like the rest of the book did. That I didn't particularly care for that turn that it took there. And I have one other. I have another Mark Millar issue that's towards the end of the book. That's when we get to spoiler territory. But I understand what you're saying because I agree with it.
I like rereading this again. Like maybe it's him trying to channel Mark Millar's wittiness that I think very few people can do. But like this storyline in particular, I really enjoyed. The one with this guy right here that was taking out the team. What is his name?
Oh, when they brought back, because he was the old doctor, right? That guy?
Yeah, the Earth Inferno storyline.
Oh yeah.
One where they like let him have power for like
an hour.
Yeah. This storyline.
I thought it was neat, although man, there's some creepy bits. But
that was a good story, I thought.
It was very Grant Morrison Doom Patrol-ish. Like that's what I thought. And then, there's all these little cameos here by the Wildstorm family. Femme versions of themselves, rather. Or gender bend versions of themselves.
Which is great, because it's a lot of cosplay options.
That's exactly what Jess and I thought.
I was like, all right, cool, I can cosplay.
Yeah, that's exactly what Jess and I were thinking. But, I'm not the biggest Mark Millar fan. Like, I think the one thing that I've read by him that I really enjoyed was Red Sun.
Yeah.
This is better than a lot of his other stuff, though. This is probably better than most of his stuff that I've read at Marvel for the main two, and I don't know. But that's just me.
No, I agree. I think this is some of his better stuff. It's certainly better than Hit Girl 2.
I don't even think I made it past Hit Girl 1. Oh, Dustin Nguyen takes over the book, too. I forgot about that. He's a good artist. I like his art style.
Yeah, I like his art style, too.
But yeah, it's practically this team right here that takes on the Authority.
Oh,
and it's kind of, and unlike
or like the team that takes over all of their positions.
Yeah,
I really hated that. The part with this guy, the
Union Jack guy.
The Union Jack guy, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was rushed.
I don't think we were meant to like that. I think we were meant to be pissed off by that.
The ending was kind of cool, but like just I think it felt really shitty. And then I also felt like the treatment of the ladies was kind of unnecessary. It's very of the time. It's very early 2000s.
There is what I was going to talk about.
Thing that could happen to these two women.
There is what I wanted to talk about.
And rape. Cool. Like
that is exactly what I wanted to talk about. That was my one bone to pick with Mark Millar. It is when that team takes over and the other team, Midnighter disappears with a baby and they humiliate the original team as, Hawksmoor is a bum on the streets. He can't listen to the city anymore. He's drinking sour milk out of a garbage can.
Which is that's a nice way to approach his life. He's being like the city guy and now he's in the city.
Right. And, we've got, Apollo's getting the hell beaten out of him on the ship. Okay, so he's a punching bag. And so then the two women, typical Mark Millar fashion, are just the engineer and Swift. You can't think of anything other than to make them raped and subservient to men. I mean,
Yeah.
Are there any other ways to humiliate a person? I mean, you thought of all these interesting ways to humiliate the men. Why is the go-to always rape and subservient to men the go-to for Mark Millar or Miller or whatever his last name is? Because I know maybe he's changed in the past 20 years. I know that was my issue with Hit Girl 2, was that he used rape as a way to progress the story forward. And I don't know if I dumped root beer on that one, but I definitely told people not to read it. I was furious at that book because he used it as a way to get the hero angry. And that's not a story. Rape is not a story device to me.
Yeah,
I think Mark Millar needs to be a woman for a year and feel what it feels like to actually have that fear for a year. And I just that really gripes my cookies that's what he did to those two women. It does.
Yeah, and I agree, and it's one of the things I'm not so angry at all the time. I understand that like a lot of stories at that time, in late 90s, early 2000s, don't deal with that well, and I always hope that people with more recent works are better about it. But yeah, it just felt like this is crummy. I could have thought of a way better punishment.
Make him
Angie. It would have been perfect to have her just
make him listen to a TED talk.
Mundane. To give Angie completely mundane life, because her whole goal was to be a superhero, and she got it, and she was really happy. Give her the most mundane life.
Yeah, give her a boring job at with a boring job at a boring wage, doing mind-numbing work or something. That just is not my thing.
I think that's what he did for the sake of edginess, right? Like, I mean, he did the same thing with his run on Ultimate X-Men, which is, what's the edgiest thing we can do to Colossus? We'll make him gay. Like, it's not that radical of a change. It's so ridiculous. And that's what I was talking about earlier when Grant Morrison was making fun of the fact that that's what you have to do to be almost a shock writer, per se.
Yeah, and also, some of the language in the end, that end story, bothered me also. Because I'm not supposed to like this guy, the Union Jack guy. But I was like, I think you pushed it a little. This felt like you're trying to be edgy, make edgelord. Like, we're gonna make this bad guy, and he's gonna like call all these people queer and be really awful. I'm like,
I'm okay with that. Like, as long as it's one character.
I just feel like it was lazy. I felt like this was lazy. I still appreciate the end. I appreciate we got together, and also Midnighter taking care of that little girl was wonderful.
I thought so too.
And I'm still happy about it. So
I think things like that don't bother me because he's supposed to be a bad guy. You're supposed to hate him, and the more you hate him, the more you root on for the good guys. The good guys will never use a word like that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
or okay to say,
you're supposed to hate.
Oh,
in the right way.
Sure.
So at the time it wasn't, but I don't know. I just that last arc, I was like, it just felt like a slog, and I just really didn't care about it.
I love the last two issues.
Huh?
I loved the last two issues. The way it ended, I thought was just
I
thought he did a good job ending it.
I like the parts 3 and 4 of that, or 2 and 3, because they were drawn by the amazing Arthur Adams.
Yeah,
like you hardly ever see Arthur Adams pencils, and I'll show here, on any book, right? The internal pencils of any book, but somehow Mark Millar and Wildstorm paid him some good money to come on board to do this. But man, I was so glad we got him on here. I love Arthur Adams.
Yeah,
I really liked at the end, like the way they, at the end they could have gone and helped humanity with like all the mistakes that they had made, and they're like, no. At some point, we have to let them decide how they're going to fix their own problems. And they did that. And I was like, oh, this is different. Like, no, we're not going to help them. And you're going to tell everybody else not to help them either. We're not doing it. And then Midnighter and Apollo got married. And I was like, oh, this is great. I really like them. They're very sweet. And also, can we talk about how great Midnighter is? Because this guy is like rough and tumble, really cool McGruff guy, right? But then we have instances during the comic book where he's very insightful and sensitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate really appreciate that when he fought that one guy and he's like, "Hey, I know what you've been through." You know, and you've probably, I can tell you right now what your life is like.
Oh yeah, and he gave him a big hug.
Yeah, and then that guy totally made over his life and sent him like a letter later. I was just like, man, thank you. Like these kind of stories are really great. Midnighter's really great. Why can't we do more like that with Batman? Edgy writers at DC, thank you. Like this guy, these two.
You haven't read Batman 77 yet, have you?
No.
I haven't either, so don't say anything.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is the internet is gonna be pissed tomorrow morning.
Wait, do you mean with Tom King?
Yeah. Not with Tom King, but the story, what happened in there.
A cover or something going around. But anyways.
La 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 la.
How am I gonna spoil it? We're talking about the Authority.
I think people can really learn a lot from the Authority with these characters.
Yeah.
Because you have these stereotypes that you do see in other books, but they're done very differently. And it shows you that you don't have to stick to the same stereotype all the time when writing these characters. Like, Midnight and Apollo, they're happy and they're together and they're still fighting crime and they're awesome. Like, why can't our main DC superheroes also be happy? And I say, as in general, I mean Batman. I'm sorry, Batman. I think Batman's a lesson from Midnighter, and everyone could stop writing him poorly. Thank you.
Well, he does write him with a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you read his was it Grant Morrison that wrote the Midnighter series? Did you read that, Jess?
I haven't. I just started the Wildstorm Warren Ellis series today.
I want to read that because that art looks gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, and I'm reading that today and tomorrow, and then I'm going to start reading Midnighter, and then there's a Michael Cray. Excuse me. Michael Cray is a character in those Wildstorm books, and he's got 2 books out, and so then I'm going to read those.
Cool. So you're doing a whole Wildstorm thing.
I am. Yeah, I'm going crazy. Wildstorm is basically rebooted Authority, and it's really cool.
Maddie, what did you think of? This is your also first taste of Planetary.
Oh yeah.
So we got a small little glimpse of how cool Planetary is. We gotta do that one day. That's one of my favorites.
Everyone always talks about it, so I didn't know anything about it. And honestly, I didn't know what these characters were from. I had heard about Midnighter and Apollo, but I didn't know where they were from or anything. I really, really dug this.
So thank you for correcting me, David Codd. It's Garth Ennis, not Grant Morrison.
Okay.
And I think the answer to this question, where did I see it, is no. I think they're only trade paperbacks, which is a sin.
That is correct. That's only trades.
Yeah. Well, maybe if these sales will do, like, if this omnibus does well on sales, which I don't see why it wouldn't, maybe that'll help.
It's weird because this has been released in 2 absolutes by Wildstorm, and then it was reprinted by DC, like, not too long ago, too. So it was a very odd choice for an omnibus to come out.
Do not get the 2 absolutes from Wildstorm. Fortunately, they're out of print, and they are incomplete. Don't get them. Either get this omnibus or get the absolutes. This omnibus is what you want to get because it's got the secret history of Jenny. But
yeah,
this is what you want to get. I only had read the crappy Wildstorm absolutes, which were totally incomplete. And so a lot of this stuff was new to me that I hadn't even read before. So I was grateful for this omnibus.
And if you've never read this stuff and you were reading comic books in the 90s, it's pretty cool, such as myself, to come in here and see Warren Ellis use characters from the Wildstorm universe, like Union and Gen 13, mainly during his Stormwatch years, but then also a little bit in here. Thought that was pretty cool.
And for those at home that haven't gotten to see this or haven't bought the omnibus, I do want to say that unlike some of the other DC omnibuses that are way too big for their own good, this is a really good size. Honestly, it's a good quality omnibus, and it's not too obnoxious to read. Because sometimes there's omnibuses that get released, especially by DC, that honestly are really difficult to physically read.
Yeah.
They basically are just placeholders on your shelf. This is different. This was fine. I carried this around it like today and yesterday and read it, and it was great.
Good point.
That's an important review, honestly. Like, it's important to talk about whether the books are actually physically readable.
No, some are too.
Infinite Crisis is a little too big.
I don't have a problem with books like that. I like, but I'm also a cheap ass, and I want as much as possible inside of a book, like Colossal Conan or Big Damn Sin City, things like that. So I don't mind.
I find those really hard to read. Like, I don't know how I'm going to read the Bronze Age Jack Kirby Omnibus. I can't wait to read it. But it's 1,500, just under 1,500 pages.
You got to work out those wrist muscles, man. Work out those wrist muscles.
You keep my wrist muscles out of this.
No, these things do get heavy. Yeah, you're right. This is a good size one.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Or you could try to read them digitally, Jess, and just leave your omnibus sealed on a bookshelf. Can't believe you haven't done that yet.
Infinite Crisis digitally. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really pick up my omnibus that much. So I'm like, oh man, what a waste.
You just made me sad, Maddie.
I mean, I do it for our show and to catch up on stuff, but overall, it just looks really nice on my shelf.
All right. So, as I mentioned, this episode is brought to you by cheapgraphicnovels.com, where you can get books up to 50% off. And if you're a first-time user of Cheap Graphic Novels, you tell them that Near Mint Conditions sent you their way, and they will give you a free shipping code for your next purchase. They do ship internationally. I'm not sure how much that international prices cost, but tonight, due to our wonderful sponsors, we're going to give away a $50 gift card. So, we're going to make it fair. I'm going to ask a question.
Oh, is it going to be an X-Men question?
It's going to be I'm going to make it X-Men related.
That is so...
It's The Authority
related.
Oh my God, I'm going to make it easy. Shut up.
What happened on Mount Wundagore?
I will in a few minutes. I can't believe you remember Mount Wundagore, by the way.
I do.
So, I'm going to make it easy. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question, and I will take the first 30 answers. And I'll run a random number generator, and I'll share my screen. And then we'll look at the comment section to see what number. So I'll put number 1 through 30. Actually, I need to put that up here right now.
I'll pick the viewer that I like the most, and he'll win.
Just Bragg is not allowed to compete in this game. You have to be a subscriber to the channel and like the video. That'd be nice if you like the video right now. 1 through 30. Okay, I'm going to ask a question about something that we just talked about. So... we were talking about The Authority, so everybody get their fingers ready on the keyboard. I hope you're not driving. Oh, Jesus, I would feel bad if somebody's driving.
I mean, I appreciate you tuning in, but...
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't die. Okay, so the first 30 answers, they have to be right. This question has a couple of answers, and that is all from this omnibus alone. Who wrote The Authority?
I couldn't even answer that.
Who wrote The Authority? Damn it, Maddie, we just talked about it.
Yeah, but there's a lot in there.
Who wrote it?
Like the most of it?
The comic book, yeah.
Name an author.
I mean, like the omnibus, I was like, there's more than one.
Well, yeah, I'll pick any of them.
Any all of it.
Who wrote it? Come on, we said it a couple of times. Okay, I'll take either one or the two main ones. And then Stan Lee, who was that? Bandai guy. Stan Lee. You are forever banned from the channel. Come back next Wednesday when we do our review of House of Axe and Powers of 10. Let me know when we have 30, Maddie, and I'll go ahead and run the generator.
Oh, gosh.
You have one job. I think we have 30.
Yeah,
Good
but
God.
I did it.
Okay.
Okay, 30's a lot. What about
that gives everybody a good chance to win, though.
Yeah, but...
But you hate counting? I'll count.
Yeah, okay.
You carry the channel, I will count.
There's probably 30 now.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
It's hot here, okay.
I know. That's why I'm making it quick. Let's see, sharing my screen. share. Bam. Bam. Oh, and I also need to do this. Let me know when you can see this. Not the infinite loop.
See it.
We see the random number generator.
Okay, I'm going to generate the number. Good luck, everybody. And like I said, this is open to international water. So here we go. The top 30 quick fingers. Number 5. Oh, that's going to make it easy. Yes, number 5.
Okay, I hope I counted it correctly.
It's all right. I'll check with you. Jess, keep everybody entertained with a joke.
Okay. A joke?
Well, let me know what you have. I know who I have.
You know who you have? Yeah. I gotta find where people started. And leave in the comments what we should read next for next week. I don't think we have a book for next week. All right, so Jim Lee did not write The Authority. So it's Warren Ellis. 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you have?
I don't know any jokes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who did you have?
We're only accepting Warren Ellis, right?
We're accepting Warren Ellis or Mark Millar or both. So it's Warren Ellis.
I have Craig.
That's who I have.
Okay.
This guy.
Craig, you did it.
You won with Mark Millar. I should automatically.
He misspelled Mark too.
Hey,
that's okay.
Craig, don't let the man get you down.
The man.
You did it.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody, for playing. Like I said, next time we do this, next month, we will make it open to everybody, and especially those that couldn't be here live tonight. So, Craig, what you need to do is email us at nearmintcon@gmail.com. Nearmintcon@gmail.com, and we'll get your info over to Cheap Graphic Novels. Congratulations. Very, very nice people in the chat. I love when everybody is nice and saying congratulations.
We've got good people.
Maddie, did you want to pick the Great Saiyaman? I like his helmet.
Oh, I love Great Saiyaman. Actually, like those episodes of Dragon Ball Z are my favorite.
The Saiyaman saga?
Yeah, I love Gohan until they ruined it.
Oh, my cousin. That's what my cousin won again. Damn it. You're right. Craig Boss and we go way back. So, yes, email us, Craig. nearmintcon@gmail.com. Craig is Hispanic. That's cheating. Damn.
Oh, that's all right. Racist.
So now
it's not.
Now that we've done this, can I talk about something off topic really quick?
Yeah, let's talk about your pachinko machine.
Okay, listen. I got this book in.
What is this?
It's Red Sonja, The Ballad of the Red Goddess by Roy Thomas. Oh, and I'm telling you, it's the most beautiful fucking book.
Wait, did you say, I'm sorry, did you say,
what?
Wait, stop right there. Did you say Roy Cree Scroll War fucking Thomas? Is that what you just said?
I never heard Maddie use the F word before. Wow.
Listen, this is like beautiful.
You tore up the Kree Scroll War. You gave it a 2 out of 10.
That's garbage.
Oh my god.
This is Red Sonja. Look at her. Beautiful.
All right, let me hold that up. Hold on. Let me highlight you. I still think I love that when Roy Thomas is writing Red Sonja, it's beautiful. But
no, but like, I mean, look at this
God
art.
forbid
and like,
we shoot down some cow shot vision down.
Kree Scroll War blows. Everyone knows that.
Come on.
I can't believe you made her read that.
I didn't make her. She has free will. She'll be out of the show if she don't read it.
There you go.
I'll make my own show.
That's right. The Mighty Maddie show.
She's going to compete against me? All right. You're back on. We're good now.
Anyways, I need to do my haul video for this month because I got a lot of books, but I wanted to show you guys because it looks really good.
Nice.
Maddie, here's a suggestion for you.
No, thank you.
We did that. last year.
Shows. Okay, it was a month of talking about Hick Avengers, and I don't like it. I like the end of it.
Because it was over.
Because it was over. Yeah.
Well, it was good at the end, and I like some of the characters that are in it. Like Hyperion. I love Hyperion, but I never ever want to read that again.
If Maddie leaves, we all leave. Jeez, you guys, we have so many loyalists. Thanks, guys.
That's my boy.
As usual,
no AC. Maddie is fierce.
As usual, I agree with Maddie. I disagree with Omar.
Right here. Thanks, Joe.
So, what should we read? Jess, do you have any suggestions for a quick read? Because I know we're gonna do. We're doing The Boys. Sometime we're gonna do the first 3 Omnis.
You're gonna have her read The Boys.
No, I volunteered.
She wants to do it.
You did.
Yeah.
I did because I watched the show and I really like it. I know I'm gonna hate the book, but I want to read it. Because I feel like I'm gonna hate it, but I need to read all of it. So
I think you're gonna hate it for the same reason that Jess hated Mark Millar's run on this book.
Absolutely. I already know some of what happens, and now I want to publicly rip it apart.
The Feral
Lad. Yeah, you want to read some good comics.
Get the hell out of here.
What should you guys read?
Mm-hmm. Give us something, Jess. We got suggestions here. Sleeper would be awesome. Preacher would be great. But I think since we're doing Garth Ennis' The Boys, we might wait on Preacher for a little bit.
We should read Sunstone sometime. Omar, have you read Sunstone?
No, but the art looks
awesome.
We won't be able to hold up the book.
Yeah, you couldn't show a whole lot of it.
You couldn't
show a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
Is it
beautiful?
Isn't it like hot?
It's erotic.
I know why Jess reads it. Why do you read it?
It's very good.
It's excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and you can't go wrong with the art.
No.
I can't go wrong with all I know about it is hot artwork with lesbian actions. Which
it's not just lesbian. Yeah, it's about BDSM, but it's like very genuine.
Ooh, say no more.
Interaction. Okay. Honestly, it's a very, very heartfelt story. It's really good. Tina's borrowing it too.
Oh, we'll get her on the show and see what she thinks.
How about Alias?
Oh yeah, I'd be down to read Alias.
That's a good Bendis book, you loser.
Okay, I'll read it again.
Yeah, let's read it. Bendis' X-Men.
I wouldn't do that.
No, what's really gonna break the show is now keep in mind she gave the Dark Phoenix Saga 6 out of 10. It's gonna break the show is when she gives fucking Gold Balls a 10 out of 10. Bendis' run, or what's Matthew Malone?
Joe had some good recommendations.
All right, let's go back. Let's go here.
So
whoops, I forgot we both have control over that. Sorry.
Transmetropolitan and Lady Mechanica. Those are both things I've wanted to read.
Lady Mechanica, one of my top 12 comics.
I'd be down to read. Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah, I love that book.
Ellie, you're gonna have to find a new book now because we finally read it, so you can't keep suggesting 52 pickup.
I'm pretty sure we read a lot of Booster.
Not enough.
Yes, we're on that road. I'm mapping the road for her. We're almost there. We're gonna get through some high points in X-Men, and then by the time we read Powers of 10-6, she's gonna be like, "Man, I could have written X-Men Grand Design," which I told Jess to read, by the way, in preparation for the next House of X, Hawksbox. Yes.
Yeah, I think Alias would be great. It's a perfect size, not too big, and it's a great story.
I love Bone and Castle Waiting. Nobody ever mentions Castle Waiting. I love that book series.
Oh, you should read Castle in the Stars, the first 2 books.
Yeah, but that's not over yet, right?
Oh, no.
They're beautiful. I agree with you.
We'll have to wait till 2021 then.
Because we're not French.
That's right. Yes,
Mark
it is.
Millar pissed them off in Ultimates. Is Lady Mechanica that steampunk female Sherlock Holmes?
Yes, she is.
Here's a good one. That's a good quick read, too.
Oh, yeah. I've never read Blankets.
That's a good one. I do think that Red Hood and the Outlaws need some love. Are we talking about the original New 52?
No, he's talking about Rebirth, obviously.
No,
you can't tell him what he's talking
New
about.
52.
Is this your fiance?
Yeah.
New 52.
We have that omnibus, too.
Wait a minute. I have an idea. I know Jess suggested things, but much like everything he says, in one ear, out the other. How about
fucking Omar?
Avengers Disassembled. You guys wanted to read a story when Amanda was on the show. Y'all wanted to read a story that I'm not that fond of, but I would be really willing to read.
I don't think I'm ready to jump into Avengers right now.
Ugh.
It's a quick read, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
so far,
not.
I haven't liked anything Avengers I've read.
Yeah.
I only like them separately. I mean, I'll read it. I don't know if I'm going to like it.
Why don't you read something that's good?
You liked Avengers Disassembled.
I did not.
Yes, you did. I was there when we reviewed it.
Great Simon, we did already read Green Lantern Rebirth.
Yes, that's.
But we haven't read. Although I've already read it, I guess. But
Sinestro Corps War. We should read that. Let's do that.
Yeah, fine.
All right. So here are your choices, Madeline, Mighty Maddie, if you will. Avengers Disassembled. Aliens by Brian Michael Bendis. Also, Avengers Disassembled by Brian Michael Bendis. The Sinestro Corps War. Or out of all these, which one was the one that I liked?
I missed.
Blankets is good.
Let's do Blankets.
What the hell?
Good for you, Maddie.
People have other reading and stuff too. I've got to read like a lot of stuff.
You do for your other channels?
I have to read Moonshadow.
Oh my god, that's a thick book.
Yeah,
that's some dense reading. I love Demetrius, but I read that. I was gonna review it on our channel, and I was like, I don't know exactly what to say about this book. It's deep. It's dense, though. Is it also... Blanket Michael Jackson's Child? I don't know. Is it?
Yes. So for next week for Hoxpox, we should invite Tina. I was telling her about the book, and she is a classic X-Men reader, which means she knows a lot more than I do. So when I mentioned Moira, she was like, so.
Okay. Is this true, Jess? Is this true?
No.
He's tried to break up with me before.
All
it takes is one phone call. He's right back on the saddle. That came out the wrong way.
Oh boy, did it.
I am Midnighter, you are Apollo. In that relationship. Alias is a good pick. Okay, so I gave it's a lady's choice. It's Maddie's choice. Not like Sophie's choice. What are we doing at the end of the month? I can't remember.
Blankets or Alias? One of them. Which one's... Should we do something shorter? I don't know.
Blankets isn't that long, and Alias is, 20-something issues, I want to say? If that? 30.
I read The Authority in a day.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to read Alias in half a day.
Yeah. Jess isn't going to gem it. Craig, don't be rude.
Be better, right? Gymcast. It's gonna happen.
Gymcast.
He wants you on that show, man. You ought to go. Say hi and show him your X-Men expertise. You've learned a lot from me.
I have.
Padawan.
I have. I've learned a ton from you about X-Men.
Ooh, I do want to read Seconds at some point. I haven't read it.
That Brian Lee O'Malley, the guy that did Snot Girl and Scott Pilgrim.
And I love Snot Girl. Oh my gosh. That new I need that next trade to come out so bad.
Jess, you should interview Jim Mitt.
We had him on Omnibus.
We did. Oh my God! Here's a man after my own heart. Some Chuck Dixon Robin. That would be freaking awesome.
Are those still in print?
Sadly, they only did like 2-3 trades, and then DC said no mas.
Huh.
If Maddie reads Blanket, she's gonna. Maddie cries at commercials, so yes. I was like, what?
That's a good joke, Elliot. Good job. Oh yeah, I'll cry. That's normal.
Yeah, she reads it like.
So I was like
this
weekend, and I was asking about a poster for my favorite anime movie, and or I was asking about merchandise for my favorite anime movie, and they said they had a poster this booth did, but they had given it away to the con. And immediately I started crying, just knowing that it was somewhere near me in my vicinity.
Like for real, started crying.
Yeah. It was a Wrath of the Ninja poster.
Oh, wow.
I didn't find it. Those motherfuckers gave it away. Can you believe that? To somebody who's not going to appreciate it.
Like to a hotter chick?
Is there one?
See, I know how to get under.
I have no AC. I think I'm the hottest one here. Okay.
That's not a very high bar, though.
Look at our target audience, damn it. Leighton, you missed the giveaway, man. I would give this. Oh yeah, what would you all give this? We didn't even rate it.
Oh, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, Jess.
10 out of 10. Oh wait, no.
No, the whole thing, baby. The whole thing.
10
The whole
except
thing?
for the ending.
9 out of 10 because of that. 9 out of 10.
8 out of 10 for me. I love the some of the Mark Millar stuff was good actually, but some of it was just So 8 out of 10 for me. It's a great omnibus. I highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it. I highly recommend Planetary. That's what you need to read.
We'll get there, man. Isn't Planetary out of print though?
No.
Oh,
Planetary.
Yeah, isn't it out of print?
No.
Are you sure? I'm doing an episode on out of print omnis.
People sell Planetary all the time, right?
I just assume.
Okay, well, type it up. See, use.
Right now.
Wait, let me ask Siri. Hey Siri,
I for $50 on Amazon.
Okay, it's still in print.
Is Planetary out of print?
Okay, I found this on the web for his Planetary out of print.
Oh fuck, she doesn't know anything. So stupid. It's the dumbest feature.
You know what's embarrassing is when you forget that you give yourself a nickname and you're in the middle of a business meeting, and for some reason, when I speak and I speak so fast, Siri picks up on my my voice. And did you say something? Hold on. What's my name?
You're Omar, but you asked me to call you Fat Cock.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
What did it say?
It's a funny story.
He asked Siri to call him Fat Cock.
I didn't ask her. She started calling me that out of her own free will.
That's bullshit.
And dude, I was in the middle of a meeting and my fucking phone thought that I said, "Hey Siri," and it said, "Did you say something, Fat Cock?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." And my director, who was in her meeting, she's like, "What did that just say?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's
nothing.
Fooling around." I can't. God. And it happened to me twice.
Oh
and I forgot that I had changed it, and I never changed it back. Like, it was before I had kids, so it's like every iPhone I got, like, it would change over. I'm an idiot. That's another Omar's an idiot story for you fine folks.
So on brand for you.
I'm so gonna die of a heart attack right now, but I'll die happy.
Oh man. So yeah, that's my Siri story.
Oh my gosh. Siri, please start calling me Fat Cock.
You can't do that. It's already taken, buddy.
Fat Cock Jr.
Oh, that's a weird nickname.
Son of Fat Cock.
So, have we decided what we're going to be reading next week? Did we decide that, Maddie? What are you holding, by the way?
I have
A fan.
Oh, is it a fan? Okay, I thought it was something else. Like one of those wet cloth things that you put. Never mind.
Let's read blankets.
Blankets. It's been decided. We are reading blankets for the 27th. And then we'll be back on the 3rd with either the boys or something else. Correct?
Yeah.
Just so you know, the boys' books are nothing like the TV show.
I know.
Oh,
and
man.
if you're a boys fan in the chat, get ready. I'm gonna tell you exactly.
You can't do that. Oh, I'd love
Right.
to read Blade of the Immortal one day. I love that manga. You can't hate something before you read it. That's what I do. It's a Bendis book. Fuck that book. I don't want to read that shit. Give it here. You gotta go in with an open mind, and you gotta go in like you're a 15-year-old boy. Right?
There's
And you would
at
be
least
like,
3 scenes. I'm gonna so tune into that episode. There's at least 3 scenes.
This is true.
Well,
There's a couple.
Like, I can handle a lot of things.
She can. She's read Berserk.
And I watch a lot of anime, and I watch a lot of older anime. So it's not like I'm going in like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this. I'm very aware of what they're going to do, and I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
I was actually talking to my wife about this because she was like, she loves the show, but she feels like the women in the show get used a certain way. And I'm like, well, it's not as bad as the comic books, and the comic books is a lot worse. And I was trying to think of, other than Tulip, who a strong female characteristic Garth Ennis wrote. And I was like, there is the Pro. Yeah. She's like, oh, what's that about? And I'm like, she's a prostitute that happens to have superpowers. But it's a funny book.
It is very funny.
It's tongue-in-cheek, right? Tongue-in-cheek. But most of the stuff that he has written has had a male protagonist. Like, it's always been like the Punisher or things like The Boys. So I couldn't think of a female character, like I said, other than Tulip, that plays a big significant role in one of his books. So that is all the time we have tonight. Maddie is going to go soak in a bathtub full of ice cubes because she has no AC. Jess is going to go back to, what are you reading these days, Jess?
Wildstorm.
He's going to go back to reading Wildstorm because he loves this stuff so much. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to read Blankets?
Yeah.
Blankets? All right. Yes. I'm going to read a few other books, and then because I'm going to do some reviews on the channel.
Oh, everybody's watching. We're going to have a live video game show on Thursday at 9 p.m. So basically every other Thursday now, I'm doing a live show, whether it be about anime or video games. So if Rob is free, we'll see if he can go and talk about some games he bought.
He just came back from Japan, so that should be fun. You guys should tune into that. It's Maddie and Tina. They're really fun together. Yeah. And then next Wednesday, we are back with a live episode of House of X and Powers of 10, Part 3, which we'll be doing more giveaways of variant covers. Then Marvel's going to be sending me some more of those, so that's awesome. Now, everybody go home, read Blankets, download it, Comixology. Jess, my friend, Omnidog, where can people find you when you're not going off about Mark Millar's writing?
You can find me on Omnidog's Vault on YouTube, where in a couple days I will be reviewing with Tyler Blunt Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 2. This is Volume 9, but it's all that I had.
I was like, damn, you're a fast reader.
I know. Volume 2.
How did you stop, dude? That for me was a nonstop, like, I got to read all this now.
I know. We're doing one a month. But we do it every week, and so that'll be Thursday that I put that up. And Omnidog's Vault on YouTube and Omnidogs_Vault on Instagram. Peace and love.
Awesome. Maddie, you have another YouTube channel that you're part of. What do you do?
I'm on the Omnibus Collectors Network on Sundays.
Okay.
Part of Fangirls Assemble. So you see me and Kristen and Freya talk about stuff. And this Sunday we'll talk about, I think, recent hauls and stuff.
Well, this Thursday I have been invited to do a show with Fangirls Assemble. It's part of the power. I think they're going to review the Powers of X3. So Faria said, "You want to come and talk to people that read X-Men?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." So it'll be fun. So you can catch us there, and that's Fangirls Assemble. So that is it. Congratulations to our winner. Thank you once again to our awesome sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com. You all should check it out. We have their link in the description. And yes, keep suggesting things. Leave them in the comments if you weren't able to join in for the live chat. Hit that like button, please. Maddie, would you do us the honor?
Yeah. So remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. See you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.
Hopefully I'll have AC.
I hope so, too.